I'm John. I'm your host at the Prepared Mind channel on Patreon. Welcome everybody. Welcome back. For you new subscribers, you know we've just moved over here, and so we're getting our feet wet, getting comfortable, and I'm enjoying the detail that's going on in the shall we say, upgraded, more labor-intense system we've got here, right? Which is explaining things in more detail, in greater detail, instead of just glossing over. I've appreciated coming over to Patreon because it's quiet. It feels like I'm actually communicating again in a meaningful way. Not that there wasn't a lot of that at YouTube, but it was just getting out of hand. On top of that, YouTube was making things really difficult. Really precarious as far as stability for the channel. And so over here, we can get into some really in-depth ideas. Okay, and speaking of success, over at the club, the preparedmind.club, we've been so successful with everything. Whether we're talking about Prepper Connect, the shopping for prepper items, the forum. It is so successful, we're going to have to do a server upgrade. So thank you everyone for crashing the server. I mean, it wasn't the biggest thing, but it made sense at the time, and we've already outgrown it. So that is terrific. Keep up the good work. Keep sending people there. Keep shopping there. Keep looking and sharing in the forum. It's fantastic, and it's helping a lot of people. Okay, I want to talk about prepping in a different way today. So many times I've heard people go, John, that's stupid. Why would you need to do that? Why? Right? You can go to the store and get things anytime you want. And they go through a litany of reasons not to be a prepper. So I sit back and I go, wait a minute, wait. I need a drink before I address something that stupid. Okay, I don't tell them that. But I say, prepping isn't just about shit hitting the fan. It's certainly what you're going to wish you were if it and when it does. And the when is getting closer. Now, again, it's not just for shit hitting the fan. So let's take a look at insurance, right? Is insurance good or is it wrong? A lot of people think insurance is wrong. Well, you don't have any choice these days, whether it's car, home, life. Some people have mortgage insurance, right? Oh, I got life insurance again. Income insurance, meaning if you're to get sick or ill, you lose your ability, right? So you can get insurance for that. Now, I have to ask this. If shit hits the fan, do any of these things pay? Right? Car, home, life, mortgage, income insurance. No insurance pays when that type of disaster strikes. Right? So if shit hits the fan, they won't exist. Now, what did these things cost me back when I had a big fat house and a big fat mortgage and everything going on in my life? It was costing me $15,000 a year in insurance. Fire, home, earthquake, car, ranch insurance, every insurance. Oh, instead of life, that should have been health insurance. Thank you, Obama. Right? I have no idea what my $15K a year would have been if I had to have the Obamacare, which has gone up, what, 100% in the last few years? Aggregate? Horrifyingly expensive. Not just $500 a month, right? $1,000 a month. For a family, that would have been $12,000 a year fine. Okay, so that's what insurance costs. It's outrageously expensive. What does 1 year of food, prepper food, for a family of 4 cost? If you buy pre-made kits, it's going to cost you around $6,000. Half of just what your health insurance costs alone. Not to mention car, home, mortgage, life insurance, right? Income insurance, other forms of insurance that we all have to pay. Not to forget Social Security, right? Workman's comp, which comes out of your pay, all of these types of insurance. So what is prepping? Prepping is literally your life insurance. It insures you in case there is shit hitting the fan. No doubt. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, right? And a plan. That is your insurance for your life, for your family's life, for your group, community, etc. Now, prepping is real insurance. Food, water, all that stuff, including, and I'm going to put in this, the insurance emergency cash. Now, there's an amount of cash you keep in the bank to do bills, to pay the expenses. But if shit hits the fan in an economic way, we could have a cyber attack. We could have an EMP or a CME, coronal mass ejection, or an electromagnetic pulse weapon go off, take down your banking system. How are you going to conduct businesses for the few days in which you hope the system's up, but while it's down, how do you get things? Having some emergency cash. Now, you'll lose, definitely lose on the inflation rate of that, keeping cash around. But you won't lose on the ability to buy stuff. And if there's a shortage of cash, your cash may become more valuable for a few days because people will realize they don't have a medium of exchange, and until they figure it out, the cash that's available is very valuable. But after a while, people may also realize, hey man, that's just paper. What do I want with paper? So, prepping is real insurance. Prepping is non-regulated, meaning you don't have to go to a company and buy it from them. It is a no permission, no forms system, meaning everything you buy is in your possession. You control it. You control the distribution and use of it for whatever purpose, right? You don't have to go to an insurance company and say, had a problem, can you help me out a bit, right? If you go to income insurance, you've got to prove that you lost money, that you lost your job. Whatever you have to prove, you have to ask permission. As a prepper, you've got a store of food, store of water, ammunition, weapons. All of those things have cash value. Say we don't have shit, it's the fan. What good is that stuff? We're going to get into that, okay? So let's take a look first at inflation. 3 to 5%. Savings is a loser. Leaving large amounts of cash. $10,000 is going to lose you $300 to $500 a year. $300 to $500 pissed down the toilet for every $10,000 you have in the bank. It loses its purchasing power. Inflation. Savings is a loser. Of course, they want you to send your money to Wall Street, any extra cash. And they call that an investment. And you're hoping to get a return. In fact, when we have any sort of economic recession, and we're going to get into that as well in this video, any sort of economic recession, you're going to hope to get something back from Wall Street, and you're going to be surprised if you're not figuring things out and seeing that you're not going to get anything back. Okay, so inflation is 3 to 5% negative. Prepping reverses that. That food, water, self-defense, guns, ammo, those have a 3 to 5% annual increase. Plus, they're available to you if shit does hit the fan. See, you own it, you possess it, you accrue 3 to 5% annually or more. Because if the value of those goes up because parts of the economy go down, that food's going to be way more valuable. If we go into an inflationary or hyperinflationary tumble because the Federal Reserve screws with interest rates or something bad happens in the economy, all of a sudden the prepper items you have a greater value. The cash you have in that scenario is worthless. Your stock market, dead. Okay, so investments. If you have money above and beyond the need for food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, ammo, means of self-defense, all that, if you've got extra, this is what I think is a good idea. And this is not advice, it's just my idea. Gold and silver, they're real. You can hold them in your hand. They have never been worth zero. Never, never have they gone to zero. They're always worth something. And quite often, it is the store of wealth through hard times that makes it more valuable. So, worst case scenario, gold and silver, put it in a sock, put that sock in another sock, and you now have a mace. At the very least, your gold and silver becomes part of your defense arsenal. All right. So prepping is more than just for SHTF. It is. It's more than just SHTF. And I talked about job loss. I talked about economic tumbling, recession. Right? They called this depression we had that they bought their way out of by borrowing from the future with quantitative easing. Right? They called it the Great Recession. How fucking original. You know, pardon my French, but that's stupid shit. Right? We had the Great Depression, so this is the recession. What is the difference? People were out of work, houses were lost, a huge segment of wealth was just destroyed. Right? So recession equals job loss equals a money shortage. Cash. There's a money shortage in a recession. Your wealth, your income producing power, the ability to make money, to have money, to spend on things, right? There's a shortage. If there's an inflationary issue, inflation goes up and the wages never rise fast enough to keep up with it, so you're chasing it. And we've been doing that for over 30 years anyway. And what I'm talking about there is real wages. That is how much people make in relation to what it costs to make a fucking living, to get by. It is in the tanks. Now, if we get into another recession, we're going to see that again. Already, it takes more than just the husband's income. It takes the husband, the wife. They need to each have a job and a half, 2 jobs, to make ends meet. In a recession, things go bad. Down, down, down. How do bills get paid? There's a cash shortage, right? How do you make up the difference? Preps, your food, your water, your medicine, your guns and ammo, everything you own has real value. Preps are real insurance. They're real wealth. See, stocks and bonds on Wall Street are no good until you sell them. They're valueless to you. People go, I can liquidate them in a matter of days. Bullshit. Try it. Try it when there is a bank run because there is a cash shortage because of a recession. Try it. Try getting your money out of Wall Street. It's like going to the bank and saying, I've got $50,000 in cash. I'd like that in 20s and 10s, please. They're just not going to give it to you. They're going to say, we don't have it in the vault. Sorry. That's the type of stuff we have to worry about as preppers. Think about, plan for, right? And again, I want to say this as a caveat. I don't know everything. I'm just bringing ideas to you guys, and you decide. Because I'm an expert in my world. You're the expert in your world. I never, ever want that to get lost in the conversation. You have to think about and make your own decisions. Same as me. But you've already come to be a prepper. So, do we consider this for ourselves, right? So preps are real insurance. They're real wealth. If we have not a SHTF, but a recession, we have an economic slowdown. What good are preps, you say? Well, they're better than cash in the bank because the bank confiscated it. They're better than stocks and bonds on Wall Street because those are worthless to you. The food is real food. How about that? Right now, if your food bill per month is $500, $700, $1,000 a month, when we get into an inflationary crisis and a shortage of cash, what is that food going to be worth to you? Remember how I said 1 year, 4 people, $6,000. If that doubles, that's $12,000. Now that food is worth $12,000. How about if it triples? $18,000. And if there's a cash shortage and an economic problem, That food is going to feed you. You don't have to spend for the next year $3,000 a month, $2,000 a month. Whatever the cost is, you don't have to spend it. You can eat that. It is real food and it's really valuable. Plus, you don't have to go down to the fucking supermarket and get in a Black Friday fight every time you go shopping. Because if we're having an economic recession, there's a cash shortage, we're having inflationary issues, there's going to be supply issues. Maybe you have to go down there and fight once a week, but everyone else has to go down there and fight 2, 3, 4 times a week. Why? Because you have your preps. They are real insurance. That's wealth. That's your money that was put to good use, that you control. You don't have to ask permission for. It actually has value beyond, oh fuck, I just spent $15,000 this year and I got nothing to show for it. When you invest in preps, either for SHTF or just to put your money someplace useful, you own it. I don't want to belabor it too much, but you possess it, you own it, you control it. Now, money gets tight, you've got guns and ammo. Those have value. That value continues to escalate, especially if we get into an inflationary cycle, a hyperinflationary cycle. All of a sudden, this $5 box of ammo is worth 10 bucks, 20 bucks. Perhaps a box of ammo will buy a meal for you and your family, right? So it's real. So it's $5 today, it's worth $20 in a bad recession, and maybe that $20 will go a lot further than it did as a $5 bill today. All right. Useful to have ammo just laying around the house. All right. Recession, right? There's not a shit it's the fan guarantee, right? When a recession happens, just because it happens, doesn't mean shit has hit the fan. It just might mean that we have really, really hard times. People losing their jobs, losing their houses. Remember the crash back in 08 and then 09 and 10? People lost their homes, their jobs, their careers. We learned all the term. We all learned it. I learned it. Underemployed, meaning I was making $150,000 a year and now I'm making $50,000 a year and I'm happy to be making it. Underemployed. So recession is not a guarantee of shit hitting the fan. But I tell you what, if it happens, I'm going to be on high alert. That calls for a drink of scotch. The end of the world always calls for a good drink of scotch. In your preps, side note here, sidebar, food, water, ammo, medicine. I've talked about alcohol, how it's going to help you remember better times, relax, it has medicinal value, make friends. Same with candy bars for kids, chocolate, whatever, Smarties, Nerds, whatever those candies are kids like. Having a huge bag of it is going to cost you 20 bucks, 30 bucks. Who cares? If we have a bad recession, not just shit hitting the fan, bad recession, that candy is going to be like gold to kids. Okay, sidebar over. Recession, not shit hitting the fan guarantee, but things can get really tough on a personal level. Like I said, we could see a banking crisis. You can't get your money. Now, over in Europe, when they've had this, they just say, well, you know, we're going to have a bank holiday and you can't get money and we're going to have this thing called austerity and you can't take your money out of the bank, right? So what good is it? Right? That's why having some cash around, not a bunch, just enough to get by on those weird times, but having your wealth in your control. That's a key component to being a prepper. Okay? So, can we predict a recession? The answer is yes. You don't have to be a wizard with a hat, tall and pointy. You don't have to be a genius, right, with the glasses. You don't have to have a fucking college degree. Sidebar. Back in my 20s, a friend of mine named Jim said, John, I don't believe what you're saying about law, because I was talking about we don't have to legally pay taxes. It's a sham. And he's like, I don't believe you. You don't have the credentials. So guess what I did? I went and got the credentials. And I went back to Jim and I said, Jim, I am now a bona fide smart guy. I went to school. I got a piece of paper says I know what the fuck I'm talking about. Now sit down, I'm going to fucking school you. You know what he said? He said, John, I don't care if you have the piece of paper. I still don't believe you. I was so fucking mad, right? I thought that piece of paper gave me credibility. It doesn't. There are thousands of people on Wall Street that have degrees in smartitude, and they lose their asses every year, even when there's not a recession or a collapse or a market correction or a bubble popping. Smart guys screw up and lose all the time. I don't lose. Not in this game. Right? Not in this game. So, can we predict it? Yes, you don't have to be a smart guy to do so. But it helps to pay attention and learn from other experts and test their credibility and test them against each other, etc., etc. Right? So how? How do we predict? I've mentioned this a little bit as of late. It's called the bond yield curve. Bond yield curve. I just happen to have a news article here. The bond yield curve tells us something about recessions. So when is it going to happen? It's going to happen now. Recession is coming now. Now. Recession is coming. This is an article by Market Watch. It's about the Federal Reserve and the bond yield curve. Gregory Mannarino and all other experts are talking about it. You can go find Gregory Mannarino. He's a very informative guy. Personally, I don't like to make money off of Wall Street by shorting and taking money from other people's accounts. You're not stealing from the rich, you're stealing from the stupid. And I don't want to participate in that on a moral basis. Other people don't have any problem taking other people's money out of Wall Street. I do. Still, I can see what's going on there and determine, is shit going to hit the fan? I don't know. We're going to have a recession? Absolutely no question about it. All they can do is keep printing money and printing money and printing money, and I have that right here. So, let's take a listen, take a read. Okay, I'm going to try and have the admin put the web address, the link to this article down below. But if you go and type in Market Watch at Yahoo or Google, why... Let me zoom in. Why this U.S. recession signal is probably throwing off a false alarm. Why this U.S. recession signal is probably throwing off a false alarm. There's a couple things in there. This is from MarketWatch.com, which is a huge news site tied to Wall Street. Probably, where the fuck did they get a probably? Why this U.S. signal is throwing off a false alarm. They put probably. They're fucking hedging a hedge in a news article. Throwing off a false alarm. It's not a real alarm. This is a false alarm. Whether it's real or false, it's an alarm. We should be alarmed at this. False or not, it's a fucking alarm. Beep, 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 beeps, buzzers. It's an alarm, right? Probably a false alarm, they say. Let's look into this a bit, right? A historic marker used by Wall Street and also the Federal Reserve and all investors who are knowledgeable, they determine a recession is coming and this alarm is flashing red right now. But there's probably no need to worry for now about the U.S. economy. First line, first paragraph is again, probably for now you don't need to worry about it. How about when? How about when? If not now, when? Okay. So why should we be worried about this? This is why. I love the question, why? The yield curve is just a fancy Wall Street term, and it's also a Federal Reserve central banking term, a term to describe the difference in interest rates on long-term and short-term government treasuries, in the case of the 10-year and 2-year notes. Bonds, T-bills, whatever you want to call them, treasury notes. Now, I'm going to show you this right here. This is critical. I'm going to highlight 2 sections. Okay? Now, rather than do that, I'm just going to put the picture up here. I'm putting the picture up here. At the year 2000, just after it, and then again at about 07, 08, the bond yield curve inverted. It went upside down. It's lower. It's negative. Okay, what that means is the way the government was trying to inspire people to get a short-term higher rate, they raised the interest rates on the 2-year bond, the 2-year treasury bill, note, whatever you want to call it. The result was people started throwing money at that. Right? What that signaled is there's a cash issue, though. There's a cash problem. There's an economic problem. A recession is coming. Okay? On last Wednesday, here we go back to today's news. On last Wednesday, the minutes from the Fed's last big meeting in October could shed light on their internal debate about what to do next. This is regarding the bond issue, which leads to recession. Not necessarily shit hits the fan, but recession. Okay? Yet the Fed is not locked into its current path, right? They want to say that they're not locked in the current path. They don't have a lot of options here. The central bank has repeatedly shown skittishness about raising rates when the economy has occasionally faltered, such as in late 2014. That's right. Did you hear about the big 2014 falter? I did. 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, there is skitterishness and, faltering every year. And they're doing everything they can. They're sticking their fingers in holes in the dike. They're puttying it up with super glue, trying to get through this. Okay. Now, normally, when you talk about someone in charge, smart people, you go, man, they got their shit together. They know what they're doing. They're getting in there, and they're fixing stuff and fixing things up. They're leaders. We just use the word skitterish to describe the Federal Reserve. Now, let's read this sentence. Yet the passivity of central banks less sure of their own forecasting ability after years of errors also poses risks. They have years of errors, terrible forecasting, and they're passive. They're not in charge fixing shit. They're backpedaling and throwing money at shit, trying to fix stuff. And now we've got an inverted yield rate on the bonds, which has triggered, in my lifetime and past, every single time it does that, a recession follows. Not necessarily shit hits the fan, but it's going to be hard times. Hard times. And having preps is your real insurance. It is a good insurance. Right? It's real. It's food. It's water. It's assets that you have purchased that are going to go up in value if we have a recession because the market and the economy is going to go down. This is happening right now. Can you predict it? Yes. This story is an apology piece. It's a puff piece trying to say, hey, everything's fine. It's not really going to go bad, right? If they raise the rates in order to try and stop this, what's that do? It slows the economy down. If you can't afford a new car now, what do you think is going to happen if they raise the rates 1 point, 2 points, 5 points? The entire economy will come to a grinding halt. People can't afford their credit card debt now. They can't afford their house mortgage now barely, their car payment now. All of the insurance they have to buy, mandated by the government, car, home, health, mortgage, life, income insurance. That all costs money. How are you going to afford it? Plus your real mortgage, the actual house payment, not just the fucking insurance. The real car payment, the real food cost. Right? This is what we face as human beings today. While this skitterish, whoops, we made another mistake, central banking authority who's passive can't make up their mind about what to do. And on top of everything, this is the least experienced board in the Federal Reserve in years. Right there. Why this U.S. recession signal is probably throwing off a false alarm. It's an alarm. It's an alarm. Every time this happens, a recession follows. Are you going to believe these dimwits who just wrote that the Federal Reserve Board has been nothing but wrong the last few years, and their only saving grace is they keep throwing money at shit to solve the problem? Recession will result in less cash, less money, and inflation. No money for you. Prepping is a high yield investment. Prepping is a high yield insurance. Prepping is real insurance. It's real. It'll save your ass. That is why you're doing it. It's not just about shit hitting the fan. It is to face the problems that are coming. And they're fucking coming right now. And I don't mean to use fear porn. I don't mean to alarm anybody, except the alarms are really going off already. In Washington, on Wall Street, at the Federal Reserve meetings. Not just in the U.S., but in Canada, in Australia, in Japan, over in Russia. Don't forget Europe. They're all having the same problems. What do? They can't decide because there's nothing to do. We're going to get it. We're going to hit this recession. Or it's going to hit us. Right? It's going to hit us with a mallet right on top of the head. Unless you are prepared. And on top of having that food, I recommend having seeds. Heritage, non-GMO, non-hybrid gardening seeds. There are vegetables that are high in protein, high in carbohydrates, high in sugars, that store a long time. It's important. All of these things are available at the preparedmind.club. Okay. The food, you can get food there. You can go to Thrive Life. I recommend also getting hundreds of pounds of staples like rice, beans, corn, masa, flour. It's really cheap and you can get it in bulk at Sam's Club or Costco, or even your local store may have 50-pound sack. Really cheap, and then you supplement it with the other things, right? The good flavor stuff. You're going to want good quality, nutritious food. But all of that is available at the club, as well as your self-defense items, right? I can't sell guns and ammo, but we have links at the preparedmind.club that'll take you to places where they'll sell you the best ammo at the best price. Right? 1-800-GUNS and AMMO. Great deals there. Anyways, prepping is a way, right? It's real insurance. It's a way to hold and sustain your wealth. Here, today. Not hoping in 10, 20 years with Wall Street. Not hoping your bank. And speaking of the banks, I want to get to this. The banks are, again, really talking about the fact that they can, because of this recession that's coming, they are now looking at your money as it's an investment now in the bank. It's no longer deposit. They're not required to hold your money. They already take it and send it to Wall Street and invest it. Yes, your bank's money is pumping up Wall Street, and you go in and you get out little bits and amounts here and there, but all the extra goes to Wall Street. They're looking at confiscating everything and calling it a bail-in, and you don't get your money back. You get stock in the bank that's gone broke, that invested in Wall Street, that's in trouble because of a recession that's hit, because the bond yield curve is inverted, because the economy is so weak it can't hold itself up, and here we go. I'm a prepper. You're a prepper. Everyone who isn't would like to be a prepper, to do everything you can. Get prepped now. You know, I like to say that. Get prepped now. Thank you to everybody for supporting this channel. Oh, we're all going to need help. You know, God help us all if we go to a recession. If we go to shit, it's the fan. Yeah, we're all going to need help, right? But even if we have just a recession, it's not going to be just a recession anymore. What's coming is bigger than you can expect. It's probably bigger than I can expect, and I can expect a lot. But what I do know is I am as fully prepared as I can be. Once again, food, water, shelter, medicine, means of self-defense, clothing, and a plan. Because chance favors the prepared mind is yours. Get prepped now, folks. Thank you for watching. Share the preparedmind.club. Share Facebook with everyone you know. Get them in the mindset. Get in the mindset. Get them in front of your computer and show them this. And then ask them, what are you doing? Right? What are you doing for yourself and your family? Because this is coming. You guys be cool. Semper Fi. Chance favors the prepared mind. Godspeed.
Playtime is over. Get your Prepared Mind merchandise at thepreparedmind.club. Help keep free speech free and spread the word about the need to prep.